what a crappy day it is today, because we had a beautiful day yesterday. But then, due to a fault of yours, I presume, because you're the technical wizard, I haven't a clue. We did a wonderful interview. You were crying at one point. You were very emotional. You said that you hated your parents and that you couldn't wait to leave Ashford. There was lots of stuff we got into. We'll get back there to it. But yes, we found out there was no sound. I'm here with you because I first became aware with Film Brother, which has just been to the Fresh Film Festival, did the Irish Film Fest, played in the IFI. It's coming to the Whale on Friday with Blade Runner. Pretty spectacular for somebody. You're just about to turn 14.
14 on May 25th.
That's kind of crazy, because I would have looked at this and it could have been anybody who made it. It wasn't like an age thing. Did you kind of hit the ground running? Did it take a while? Because you've done a few short films, but did you feel this way from the start? This all works. I can do this.
It's more like I don't really, especially with Brother now, I feel like I have a standard to improve on each time. But for Brother, it was more like, I'm just going to make a film and see what happens. It was one of those situations, because I've made like countless mini short films, whether it's like my friends coming over or just me in like my room, like I don't know, just I filmed hundreds of like mini videos, and then Blood, Sweat and Tears is the one I made in like late 2016. That won Ireland's Young Filmmaker of the Year award in the junior category.
Right.
At Fresh Film Festival, and that was like a massive like kind of wake up call. Like maybe I should really start taking this thing seriously. I mean, it's always something I've been interested in, but I never thought I could be like kind of, I guess, a little bit successful out of it. So then I knew, well, next summer I have to make a film for the senior competition, and eventually a story just came to me, and I was thinking, well, I'm just going to make this film, make a script, and see what happens, and then it's just the finished product came out of it.
But what's beautiful is you're part of a generation that are incredibly familiar with technology and have a whole widescreen world open to you in regard to what you can do.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, you've had your vlog as stellar with 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
You've kind of now turned a sort of almost a separate kind of career, even though it overlaps, of course, of being SEAN TREACY, a filmmaker.
Yeah.
All of this, it must feel, I'm guessing it feels natural to you, because a lot of people would think, wow, like how does even one begin to do that? But I'm guessing for you it's all just sort of happened organically. And it's
really like, if someone was to ask me to explain how this all like kind of accumulated, it's impossible to describe. Like for narrative short films, it's just, for 2016 with Blood, Sweat and Tears, it was something I wanted to keep trying. And then YouTube, that was completely out of the blue. I was just uploading these mini edits of skiing one day, and then one day at the beginning of summer I was like, I might as well try and make a video where I'm talking to the actual camera, and I kind of just kept at it. I started making vlogs of summer, and then when I went back to school I'd make videos every weekend, and it just somehow turned into like a part of my life now, where every Saturday I'm trying to upload at 8 p.m. and it's insane how it forms.
But what's kind of sweet too is that the internet, in a way, it's like a jigsaw puzzle now, because one of your actors, Cal Ireland, he did a little kind of diary of his visit with Brother to the Fresh Film Festival. So in a way, it's you could almost sort of piece together these overlaps of your life crossing over to somebody else's life who's also doing a vlog, and it makes for a kind of a multifaceted kind of diary universe,
it's really exciting as a subscriber when I'm watching my favorite YouTubers and they make a video with someone else, and when I first filmed with Cal, I had like 900 and he had about 1.2 or something thousand. Like that's what mattered, but it was just that was kind of just to give an idea of the like where we were at the stage. And I just saw his channel and I couldn't believe I'd found someone like close enough in Dublin that was making content and like keeping at it and taking it seriously. So we started making videos, and then he kind of branched out. We kind of branched out to different creators. He knew some, I knew some, and now it's turned into this little group of ours that we just make videos together, and when we go on trips together, those are always the most exciting, because we all have different perspectives of it, and it gives viewers a really just entertaining videos.
Well, I always think with stand-up comedians or photographers and all that, when they come across a scene that's just rich in their world, it's almost like a race to who gets it first, because it's like, I know that's going to be a gorgeous angle, I better get it before somebody else does, or get an idea. Now we should talk about your actual filmmaking. As I said, Brother struck me. I would think personally of filmmakers like Terrence Malick and all that. As I said to you yesterday, you aren't afraid to let the film just breathe and be quiet and have these moments where it's almost dreamlike and it's a sensual world rather than it's all about hitting dialogue and hitting notes and all that. Again, is this sort of, I don't know, it's born out of chance, or whether it's a kind of a storyboarded thing? Or?
I guess it is kind of out of chance. I mean, I'm definitely still learning my style with film. I really would like to have my own style of film, as in Christopher Nolan, as I mentioned.
Right.
I love, when you watch one of his films, you can almost tell, that's a Nolan fight scene, or that's a Nolan film. Whereas Steven Spielberg, I think he's really always changing up his style.
Yeah.
And that's not really something I want to do. I would like to have my own style, which is getting tougher by the day because there's so much different people in this industry now, and it's really growing. But with my films, I mean, I'm making two different types. I'm making vlogs and I'm making narratives. And in my narratives, it's really a work in progress because I have a lot more experience in the vlog side because I'm making them almost every week. But the narratives I'm making once a year. But they're really what I want to start improving because, those videos are usually what get more attention from people, say, just film festivals and stuff like that. And they're the things that can get you into the industry when you're older.
So they also last a lifetime as well.
Yeah, exactly,
a good short story, a good short film, a great feature film. It's there forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can always look back on it. And letting the film breathe. I mean, with Brother, I just felt I needed to have a climax. And that's something I'm kind of learning. With my next short film, I'm kind of questioning, should there be a big climax? I mean, every film has something to lead up to. But in short films, sometimes you just see, it could be two people talking in a room for the whole thing. Right. Whereas mine tells out a whole story of a friendship developing. And I always want to know, I always try and tell, am I going for too much sometimes? With Brother, my least favourite part about it, I'm very critical. All filmmakers are of their own work. And I was very critical of mine, and the bit I always watch in the cinema that sometimes I even turn away from is the scene at the end. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but there's a scene at the end, and I just think sometimes I'm watching and thinking it's a little bit too much, and then some people think that was perfect. So I don't know. It's always changing, and
you're talking about the monster with the rifle, right? And the machine gun that comes in on a horse with a tank on its back.
Definitely not.
Yeah, that's. So, would you talk about the future plans? Because you're obviously very, very well capable. You've got a world at your fingertips in regard to you could choose to do a million things with this. I mean, do you have a plan? Do you kind of think in those terms? Do you think, well, definitely by this time next year or 5 years I'll be on a feature? Or
well, it's different for everyone. Some people start off doing features. I'm currently starting off doing short films just because, well, features are very time consuming, and I mean, most of my time, especially over summer, I want to dedicate to making films. Obviously I can't really see what's going to happen. I can't see what's going to happen financially for me. I don't know what's going to happen, but my passion, what I really would what I visualize for my future right now is right now I'm making short films, but by my mid-20s or late 20s or even early 20s, I'd love to be making feature films, because I feel if that I want to be making films that'll be in cinema when I'm older, have a real live audience there, who I can feel kind of what they're watching, and I'd love to be making features by then, because I feel it gives you a lot of experience in that world, because if I'm making maybe bad feature films, because I've never tried it, I could be making awful feature films when I'm in my 20s, but if I start then, I can develop hopefully good ones by the time I say 35 or 40 or something like that, and then hopefully that would be what my life will be engulfed in.
Well, we'll have all the links above the video to both your Stellar account, but also your Sean Tracy account. People can check out the short films. Obviously it's going to grow over the years. It'll be kind of fun for people to catch up with what you're doing. We should finish, because it's starting to rain, of course, because we're in Ireland. We should finish by asking you're not afraid to tackle very difficult issues, and probably one of the main kind of worries for a lot of Irish people is having to entertain the English cousin. It is a dreadful kind of truth of life that every now and again you will find that in your family tree somewhere is an English person. Was there a kind of a spark for that? Was there an inspiration for the story of Brother?
Personally, I mean, I haven't witnessed anything like that. I personally have nothing.
Lucky. You're lucky.
I'm
You're
lucky.
very lucky.
I have nothing against.
You're one of the chosen few.
I was brought up But I'd say, well, I mean, I haven't got anything against any type any type of person. So it was kind of just like a lot of topics in the media recently have been about culture, as they have been for the past few years. Like Black Panther coming out.
Right.
A lot of people were really happy to finally have like just a movie that kind of explains their history and their culture.
And puts them centre stage. It's rare enough.
Exactly,
they're often the sidekick or the second in command and all that. Yeah.
And with culture being like a big topic at the moment, I was thinking like, obviously, like thousands of films have started off like this, but I'd love to see have my own take on two cultures interacting and two cultures that could have differences. So say in this film, it's an Irish kid who's being taught all these things in school about, you know, like the plantations and English taking over, like having their own empire and stuff like that. And obviously he's a little bit immature because he's so young. So he's thinking, this guy's English, you know, he took over Ireland, we're not going to let him come. And then, I mean, those are not my views. But I was just thinking it'd be interesting to see how he can develop an interest. And if the other kid's innocent, like how will he not stop? Like how will he stop feeling this way? And it was something I wanted to kind of interact with.
And what's great about a film like that is that as much as you can sort of go in depth into what these two characters experience, everybody brings a certain amount of their own kind of feelings about these scenarios, because we've all had maybe to share a space with somebody we're not particularly fond of or we don't feel we belong beside, and that chalk and cheese thing, the odd couple thing, you can obviously bring out, you know, you realise there's things about yourself that you're being prejudiced or you're being silly, and so nicely handled.
I definitely feel like it gave me a great opportunity to come up to you to have some great scenes in the film. It was really interesting to see how these characters can interact. It was just a really kind of interesting storyline to experiment with.
Beautifully done. I think we should try and embarrass your mom just before we go, just to say.
She's gonna murder you.
I just want to embarrass you. There you go. Just say thanks a million for bringing them down. Cheers.